This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the president and CEO of Medallion Resources, Mr. Mark Saxon. Mark, how are you today?
Gerardo, good afternoon. Great to be talking to you again. Doing well back in Australia here. And COVID rolls on for us and sounds like you guys are doing much better than we have. So, we'll see how it goes.
It's good to catch up. I have to start by wishing you and everyone at Medallion and Don Lei's family all the best. Sudden passing here recently, and always tough. Never the right words, but all the best from us to everybody on your end, and all the best to his family. He was the founder, of course, of Medallion Resources, and so yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the comments there, Gerardo. And Don was the vision, I guess, the voice of the work we're doing now, and was the real sort of team leader for this project for about 10 years. And I hope we can do him justice and give him a great legacy to go on with in the work we're doing now.
Well said. Well said. You had some news here this morning that is a milestone moment for the company. As always, the headline is always a mouthful, so let me go ahead and mouth it off, right? It's Medallion Resources announces completion of techno-economic assessment for extraction of rare earth elements from mineral sand monazite. I'm going to let you do it justice and provide the overview, and then we can get into the details and what it means and why it's such a milestone moment for the company.
For sure. Thank you, Gerardo. And it is a milestone and a mouthful at the same time. So I appreciate sort of the handing it over to give some context there. It absolutely took longer than we were hoping, and I'd like to put it out there first of all. And it was an independent study. It was in the hands of consultants, and really there was no way we could shortcut that. So a few frustrations I know from shareholders along the way, but we got there, and I'm very pleased with the result in the end. So I guess that's the main thing.
Excellent.
I guess, first of all, just to give the high-level view on what Medallion has been doing and is doing. So there's two components to the business. So the first of all is the rare earth extraction from mineral sand monazite. So that's the process that we're talking about here with the TEA. The second part that we're not talking about, which is a standalone process, which is the separation of rare earth elements, which is being done by Purdue University, where we're investing with a great team. So this is about the extraction of rare earth elements from mineral sand monazite. So the work that we've done over the last 6 months, I guess, is a techno-economic assessment, a TEA. So that's like a big pull together of all the technical and financial data that we have to date. Really over particularly the last 5 years, I suppose, in terms of test work, in terms of supplier relationships, in terms of understanding customers and the markets. We've pulled all that knowledge together and the physical test work into one sort of, I guess, massive summary document. And from that summary document, we've been able to work out capital costs, operating costs, the cost of every piece of equipment, the power, the people, the land use, the water use, the waste management, everything that you can imagine, I guess, that goes with that process. So wherever we now, I guess, go and land it in the real world and set it up as an operating case, then we have all of that knowledge behind us. So I guess we chose, and I know we've spoken in the past, we were thinking about a plant in West Texas. And so this plant is kind of developed with West Texas thinking. So that's about, I guess, the power costs, the labor costs, the taxation regime. So that's kind of where our baseline is. However, we've developed the model to really be able to go anywhere. So we can now drop a similar plant in Western Australia. We can drop it in where I live in Victoria. We can drop it in parts of Africa where there's mineral sands. And so we're really able to be quite iterative now to say, what's the best business case going forward? Where should we be operating? What price should we be paying for monazite and the revenue sharing and licensing deals? And so this is kind of the fundamental knowledge base now.
I have to highlight the fact that you don't get into specific numbers, and I have to speculate that is because you're likely discussing opportunities, as you highlight in the release, with partners and prospective licensees under NDAs. I know how delicate that can be. If you can comment on any aspect of that, that would be excellent. If you can't, I completely understand, because I know negotiations can be delicate, to say the least.
Yeah, most certainly. I'm very happy to touch on that as best I can. And as you say, I guess there's a few elements in our consideration for that. And there was a lot of, I guess, soul searching and legal advice that went into the way that we have approached this. So I guess three components, I suppose, that came into our thinking. So first of all, the monazite price that we have been seeing in the market. So we've been out there looking and speaking to various suppliers. The monazite price varies massively. So the internal price to a company that really, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago, they put zero value on the monazite, to what's being sold in small batches into the Chinese market. There's probably a 10 times range of prices over that number. So really, it depends on the price that you use for the monazite. Makes a very big difference to the NPV and IRR. Obviously, it's a very major part of the cost profile. The second one, I suppose, is also about the labour costs and the scaling that we have assumed. So we've assumed a 7,000 tonnes of monazite per year plant. As we increase that, the numbers change dramatically. And again, it's kind of, very hard to sort of benchmark it exactly where we want to be on that spectrum. So I guess we were thinking, let's leave that to the customers and the partners to make those decisions. Confidentiality is a very big one, and so this is a process. It's not a project. It's not linked to any one mining project. It's a process that can go and connect itself to every single mineral sand monazite project in the world. So that's like 20 projects. So we don't want to give too much away, I guess, in terms of our thinking in how we operate, in terms of the technical work behind it, and also in terms of the cost profiles and things behind it as well. We're keeping that a little confidential. And also, TSX rules give us certain boundaries that we can work within as well. So, we need to have certain independence in reporting. And, so we're making sure we're sort of staying on the right side of all of those issues.
Makes all the sense in the world to me. What comes next?
Yeah, so we're now sort of, I guess, digesting the results of that document. And really, it's telling us everything we need to know now about our business plan going forward. And you touched on for a moment there the licensing idea, and so we're certainly very active in that sector, and so we have had sort of pre-existing discussions with a number of potential partners. But another partner wrote to me literally 5 minutes after the TEA went out yesterday or this morning in your time, and so as soon as that had hit the market, then someone wrote to me immediately to say, can we engage on a discussion about what we're doing with the technology? So that's a real and live discussion for us. We're adequately financed. We've got enough money in the bank to get through the short-term goals. And I guess one of the things in particular that we have identified is that the pairing with the separation process that we're developing with Purdue University really has the potential to add massive value, I guess, to the process, because that allows us to go all the way through to a finished market-ready product. And so that's really sort of triggered us to say, let's really buckle down and get that resolved. We have invested in that technology for about 6 months, and that's doing remarkably well, much better than we had planned at the time. We want to make sure that bumps along and gets through to the next milestones so that we can really understand, I guess, and do a TEA, do a similar study on that separation part and integrate those two sides of the story then. And that really maximizes the value. So, we're pushing on those fronts, and I think we'll see some pretty good news flow coming, in the short term.
Well, it sounds like I may see you in Texas sometime in the near future. I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for that update, Mark. And anything else to add to that?
Thanks, Gerardo. That's fine. And I appreciate the shout outs, and always happy to talk and update the market. So have a good evening there.
Thanks so much for your time. All the best, Mark.
Thanks, Gerardo. Bye for now.